Have you heard any of the following things? Cryptocurrency, NFTs, social tokens, the metaverse, Web 3.0. Chances are you have. Maybe on the news. Maybe at a family party talking to your adolescent nephew. Maybe on a billboard or an advertisement somewhere. Or maybe on social media. If you're like most people, you have some cursory understanding of them. Maybe some definition that you've Frankensteined together in your head. Well, I wanted to get to the bottom of it. I wanted to understand these things. And I had a chance to talk with two gentlemen who have a much better understanding on all of these things than I do. They're Brian Fanzo and Michael Stelzner.
I'm frankly very excited about Web 3. So Web 3 means things like NFTs. It means things like social tokens. It means things like decentralized autonomous organizations, which might be kind of Greek to a lot of people. But I believe that the world of Web 3 is going to open up opportunities for decentralized social platforms. So right now, the world is dominated by about a handful of social platforms, right? You got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and just a few others. But I believe that with the emergence of these decentralized open source solutions, we're going to begin to see major creators going over to these platforms and bringing audiences with them. And in this new world, this is a world where the platforms are owned by the users of the platform, not by this centralized control, which is what we have today. And I believe that that's going to open up a whole new opportunity for marketers and for creators. Fascinatingly enough, throughout the pandemic, the largest conferences in America have been crypto-based conferences. And I think part of it is because it's exciting, it's new. There are the opportunities to essentially learn something new, but also to experience things like limited edition NFTs that some events are doing, fascinating things that are complicated to explain right now, but fascinating opportunities. That's why I recently launched a brand new show called Crypto Business. I believe that it's a podcast, and I believe that there is going to be a really interesting connection between physical world and the online world, not just at events, but with products. And it's a little early to know exactly how that's all going to play out, but I'm sure, and as a matter of fact, I know with great confidence that there's a lot of companies working on trying to connect these things together, and it'll be really interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, Web3 really is a shift in how we think about ownership and digital value. And for the longest time, so like Web 1 was the idea of websites provide us information. Web 2 was a switch to content and social interaction. And if we look at Web 3, it's now taking ownership of our data, our information, the way we share. And so it is a shift. And like the big fundamental piece is the technology is called the blockchain that of course is underneath of Web 3. But interestingly enough, it's the thing that people aren't gonna have to care about what it's underneath. It's very much like no one cares where their cell phone towers are, they just want their cell phone to work. The blockchain is ending up what that is. But what it really enables is it allows us for the first time to provide a transparent way that also has validation of sharing data online. So, and it doesn't matter, it can be, we can do photos, it can be cryptocurrency, all of that is built on the blockchain. So ultimately the blockchain is facilitating this Web3 kind of transformation. For me, it's the first time in the digital age with social tokens, with NFTs, that we can truly create a community where the rising tide lifts all ships. There's 4 ways into Web3. We have cryptocurrency, social tokens, NFTs, and the metaverse. Ultimately, Web3 is that middle spoke, and I don't really care how people get into the Web3 arena, but that's one of the 4 kind of entry points, and social tokens and NFTs are kind of the place where I focus. The unknown is always scary, right? And there's 2 things about it. Like, we know it's coming, so there's not like a, hey, this might be where we're going. And I think it's most important for us to look at and say, what small changes can I make today that will make my future migration easier tomorrow? It's not about making all the, like, not about all of a sudden switching and saying, I'm no longer letting people log onto my website by their Google authentication. But it's like, okay, well, how are we storing that data? And if we were gonna change, what are the things we need to start doing? And I would say the companies that start looking at their data management, looking at how they interact with their community today, will be prepared as Web3 makes sense to their customers, because it's gonna be a different time frame for everybody.